Visual aesthetics are the cherry on top of a magnetic and aligned brand. Think about your favorite brands like Zara, Skims, Nike. You could recognize them instantly by their colors, their fonts, their logos. And this is not by accident. Strong brands are built with intentional visuals to create trust and recognition. Because if your brand looks different every single time someone sees it, then it's forgettable. But when you create a cohesive and recognizable brand, people begin to associate your messaging with your visuals even before they read a single word. Your brand identity is an experience. It's meant to leave a lasting impression on the minds and hearts of your audience. Think of Kaya's Instagram or my Instagram. Our aesthetics and the way that we show up invoke a feeling, and that feeling is created on purpose. Your visual aesthetics matter because a clear, cohesive brand makes you memorable, and consistency builds credibility and trust. Two essentials that make up influence and impact. So this is your introduction, and I want to give you a few tips that are going to help you on this journey. Tip number one, you are not stuck. You can experiment early. The beginning is the best time to play. I encourage you to test out different colors, different fonts, different styles. I want you to get creative because the thing is, you're not locked to one look. Trust me, my stuff has evolved over time. When I first started building a cohesive brand, I was living on an island. So naturally, my content was full of bright, vibrant colors that represented where I was in that season of my life. Now I gravitate towards more of a neutral palette with a pop of color. So I say this to say that my stuff has evolved over time, and I'm still not married to the decisions that I make because I know that as I evolve, what I feel aligned with may evolve too. You have the freedom to experiment, and I want to give you that permission slip because a lot of the most successful brands have evolved over time, and so can yours. Number two, start where you are. Don't let the lack of aesthetics keep you from starting. It's about your impact over perfection. And if you think about what you're doing, the visual aesthetics is the last thing on the list in terms of importance. Yes, branding matters, but it's not the reason why you should hold back from posting. Your branding is truly just the cherry on top. There was a season where I didn't live in the most aesthetic apartment. I had dark brown couch, and then I had dark counters. The light barely came through my home. The trees blocked all the natural sunlight from coming in. But I worked with what I had and I made it work. And the most important principle that I want you to take from that is that those things didn't keep me from showing up doing what I know God called me to do. Number three, consistency builds trust and recognition. The goal of brand identity is for people to recognize you before they even see your name. Whether it's your editing style, your signature colors, your signature fonts, your content format, or maybe it's just your vibe in general, these are all what make your brand memorable. And your visuals should reflect the feeling and values of your mission. So it's not just about how it looks, it's about how your content and your visuals, how it makes people feel. Once you've chosen your starting point, I want you to commit and use those same designing elements across all your content because repetition builds familiarity and trust over time. So just remember that your brand is a visual representation of what God has placed on your heart. Make it clear, make it recognizable, and be consistent. But also give yourself the freedom to grow and refine along the way. So stay rooted in your mission, show up with intention, and trust that God is using it all to reach the right people. Welcome to your mood board lesson where I'm going to teach you how to brainstorm the overall vibe of your brand. It's no accident that a lot of your favorite brands are your favorite. They know exactly who they're called to serve, and they have created a brand that makes you feel safe, motivated, inspired, relaxed, and so on. And so today we're going to learn how to intentionally craft that same kind of visual impact for your own brand through the power of mood boarding, which I'm so excited about. So whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your brand's aesthetic, a mood board is your foundation for visual storytelling. And you're going to refer back to your mood board often, whether it's for inspiration or pictures for your feed. Just remember, a brand that looks cohesive builds trust at first glance. And this is done intentionally. And it truly makes your message memorable and your content recognizable. And when your visuals align with your purpose, your audience doesn't just see your brand, they feel you. But before we get into crafting your mood board, I want you to keep in mind that your mood board is a visual tool to your heavenly vision, your aesthetic direction, and it inspires your design choices for your Instagram, for your offers, and so many other things. I want you to think of this as the visual tone of your message. And I'm gonna walk you through what this looks like practically. So starting out, you may or may not have an idea of what you want your brand, your colors, your fonts, or your overall vibe to be, and that's okay, because I'm gonna show you how to curate that through mood boarding on Pinterest. And you're gonna choose what you genuinely like and what you feel drawn to. So whether it's a color, a pose, a feeling. And I also want you to keep in mind to pay attention to things like the angles of the photo, the actions of the photo, how the photo makes you feel, whether it's a specific color that you like, whether it's a style like maybe clean, minimalistic, vintage. There's so many things you can search. So I'm excited to walk you through this. So to get started, you're going to want to make an account. You're going to go to Pinterest.com, which is the exact site that you see me on. And to start, if you're really unsure and you've never been on Pinterest, I want you to type your content pillar and then type aesthetic after that. So just for example, I'm going to type in business aesthetic. And you're going to see a bunch of business photos. And what you're going to do, again, is just pay attention to the style of the picture, the angle. Like, this is cute. I love how she's in action taking a photo. I love the stacking of the iPad with the spiral journal or planner, with the coffee, with the headphones. I love this boss look right here. I love how she has all the pictures up on the wall. And just to keep in mind, I know that you may not agree with how people dress on here, and that's totally understandable because I don't either. But I would actually save this photo to recreate it in my own way where I would be more modest. So this is just something to keep in mind as you're scrolling through Pinterest and looking for photos. So to start, I know you already typed in your aesthetic name, but let's say you see a photo that you like. All you would need to do is click save, or you can click this down arrow. You can click create board, and I'm going to name it visual brand brainstorm. So now that that's created, we're just going to go and find a bunch of pictures that I would add. Like, this is so cute. And also, you may not agree with the darkness of the photo, but that doesn't mean when you recreate, you can't shoot it in a brighter area. I love how clean this looks. Just some other things that you can search is like the words clean, aesthetic, minimalistic, bold, rustic, moody. These are all words that you can use to describe the type of photo or style of photo, even vintage. So let's type in clean aesthetic and see what pops up. So clean aesthetic is definitely my vibe. It's all the neutral tones. It's very homey and just wellness. I love this shot. So I'm going to add this to my visual brand brainstorm. I'm going to scroll, find more pictures. I've actually used this photo before. I've recreated a lot of this stuff already. So this makes me want to go into showing you my actual mood board that I've already created for Made by the Word. So let's go to the Made by the Word website inspo. So when you're scrolling, I was just saving stuff. And then after a while, I realized, wow, I have a bunch of pink and greens and neutrals. And I can keep scrolling and it's basically all the same things. And then sometimes Pinterest will pull up inspiration based off of your inspo board. and it will pull up a bunch of other ideas that you can use. Like, I love all of these photos. This is cute. This is cute. This is cute. There's so many. Like, I love this as well. Let's go ahead and pin. So again, this is really cute. I could also see someone pulling the journal out of this bag, and that's just an idea. I love this. I could also see a journal right here. So I'm gonna pin that. But I hope this really helped you and it gave you an idea of what to search for. And then also, when you go back to your homepage, it's going to recognize the types of photos that you like, and you can click, and then it's gonna pull up even more that are similar. And so you can truly go down a rabbit hole of photos. And I love it so much. This is so fun to me. So I want you to remember to be easy on yourself as you're going through this process. You don't have to choose something just because you feel like you need to have all these neutral colors in these pictures, or you just need all greens. I truly want you to pick what feels good to you, because when we go into picking your colors, you're going to use this as an example of what you feel vibes with you the most, with you and your brand. And I'm so excited. So now it's your turn to create a mood board on Pinterest with images that match the vision God gave you for your brand. In today's lesson, you are going to choose your brand colors. And before you choose your brand colors, I just want to talk to you about color psychology. So I got this picture, and I just want to briefly go over each color and what they mean. So white correlates with purity, tranquility, cleanliness, simplicity, innocence, neutrality. There's black, which you see a lot of luxury brands use. A lot of luxury brands also will use gold, so just keep that in mind. And this also reminds you of elegance. It reminds you of sophistication, timelessness. And then you go to yellow. Yellow represents positivity, energy, happiness, optimism, hope. Then you have orange, which is associated with warmth, excitement, friendliness, youthfulness, joy, enthusiasm. Then if you go to brown, there's earthiness, stability, reliability, comfort, refinement. Then there's red. You see a lot of fitness brands have red because it's truly correlates with energy, with strength, excitement, urgency, passion, power, love, attention. Then there's pink. So you see a lot of female brands when they're trying to attract females use pink, because pink is definitely a color that girls or women are drawn to. And this correlates with sweetness, and this correlates with femininity, and this correlates with femininity, sweetness, playfulness, soft, romance. Then there's purple, which is royalty, uniqueness. You see a lot of Christian brands use purple because it talks about it in the Bible. And so this also represents creativity, uniqueness. And then there's green. You see a lot of wellness brands use green because this makes you feel warm. It makes you feel comfortable. And this gives off nature, balance, growth, prosperity, kindness, freshness. And then there's blue, which you see a lot of tech brands use because it reminds you of trust, calmness, peace, integrity, and innovation. And innovation just means it's another word for creativity. So now that we went over color psychology, I want you to refer back to your Pinterest board that you made for your mood board. And I want you to pay attention and look at the pictures that you pinned to your mood board and just notice, what colors do you see? So out of these pictures that I saved, I see greens, grays, whites, blacks. There's a glimpse of pink in there, browns, gold from the jewelry. And even if I go to some of my other mood boards like this one, there's still browns, greens, creams. whites, like off-white. There's some pink in there. And so what I want to do now is show you how to figure out your hex code. Your hex code is a number that you're going to save and hold on to because you're going to be able to put that code in whenever you're making any types of graphics, maybe website design in the future. When you're building out your digital products, your offers, you're going to be able to use these hex codes when you're in the designing process to change the color to match your brand. So now I want to show you how you can play around with colors to see what fits you. So now what I want you to do is go to color.adobe.com. This is free to use. I love this so much because there's so many things you can do on this site. So you can go to explore and it will literally give you so many color palettes. And you can type in, let's say, neutrals with pink. I misspelled neutral. Neutrals with pink. So here, it's going to give me a bunch of different types of tones. And the thing is, maybe you see a specific color, you can click it that you absolutely love, and you can press copy and it'll save the hex code. And so something that I really like to do is go to Canva, and then I will go grab a circle. You can click color, and then you're gonna paste that color here. I'm just gonna make a few. And I want you to choose 3 to 5 colors just to start. And so right now I have this hot pink color, which I'm not saying this is what I'm choosing, but I just want to give you an example. So let's say you like that color, but you don't like this palette. You can copy it and you'll paste it into Canva like I just showed you. Okay, so maybe I like this super light peachy pink. You can go back to Canva. You can click that. When you start building out your palette, you're going to recognize, maybe this color doesn't look too well. So this one's going off of pictures, which I'm about to show you as well. So let's click this super light gray. And I'm going to click the color, paste. Okay, so let's say you're not feeling this and you want to just click a picture that you already have. So what I'm going to do is copy/download one of these photos. I'm just going to download this one. Download image. So now that image saved. And what we're going to do is go back to Adobe Color and we're going to click create. So what's really fun with this is that you can spin this around and it'll give you a bunch of different colors. You can add your own, you can fix it up. But what I want to do is extract a theme. So with this picture that I just dropped, I'm going to drag it in there. And now it's going to pick colors based on the picture that I just put. And so there's different types of moods per color. So you click colorful, bright, muted, deep, dark. So with this picture, there's really not a lot of color. So I'm going to choose a different one. Let's pick this. So this one says colorful, bright, muted, deep. So you can tell the colors are darker in this deep and it goes even darker. So you can do a whole bunch of different stuff with this. You can play around with the gradients. There's so many things. I love this so much. But my favorite part is really the explore because it just gives me a whole bunch of ideas. So also, let's just type green. So there's so many colors of green you can choose. So there's like, ooh, I love this. I'm gonna copy this one. Copy. We're gonna go back to here. Paste. So now that I'm playing around with this, I realize I love these like pastel, more of like lighter color tones. Like this hot pink wouldn't work for me. So I would go back to here and recognize, okay, I don't want hot pink. I want more of a neutral color. So let's find a cream. And it's going to pull up a bunch of different ideas that you can choose from. And let's say you don't see anything. So we're going to type in tan. Okay, so we see some skin. You can scroll down, see what else they have. So this is a really nice like tan color. So we can take this out, add a new one, boom. So now this is starting to look more of my vibe. And so what you're going to do is just keep playing around with this until you find something that you like. And you can keep going back to Pinterest and you can type in, look, neutral color palette. And Pinterest will also give you some good examples if you don't want to start from scratch, like I was showing you how to do. And so these are some really cute colors that you can click, and then you can scroll down. So you can even type in wellness brand color palette. After you see the wellness brand color palette, if you like the neutrals, this would be a cute one. This looks pretty similar to what we have right here. Not this hot pink, but these four. It looks pretty similar to that. So you can kind of play around and just even copy and paste this color. So let's say I like this pink more than the one we have. D1, B9, B4. D1, B9, B4. See, that looks even better than what we had. So you can pull inspiration from a bunch of different places, but I'm super excited to see what you come up with and what you decide to choose for your brand. It's going to be so amazing. Welcome to our typography lesson. Typography is basically just the art of arranging text, aka your fonts. Typography might seem very small, but it's actually one of the best ways to create a scroll-stopping brand. The way your words look are just important as what your words actually say. Fonts carry personality, they evoke emotion, they give an overall vibe. And I'm going to give you a couple of font ideas and you can pick what best resonates with you. So after we get through this lesson, I want you to go ahead and play around with some fonts and see what you like best. This is what to keep in mind when you're deciding fonts. Is it readable? Is there readability? This means that your fonts should be easy to use. I shouldn't have to squint my eyes to see what you're actually saying. And then you want to keep in mind, if someone's looking on their mobile device, how is that going to look? For example, there are people that use like these cursive fonts, but a lot of the times it's really hard for people to read, and they don't even teach people how to read or write cursive anymore. So I understand you may love how it looks, but keep in mind that if someone can't read it, they're not going to want to actually even take the time to understand what it's even saying. And then when we get into choosing your headline font or your body text font, you're going to want to make sure that it complements each other, which creates that readability. You'll also want to keep in mind your brand personality. You want your fonts to reflect your brand's vibe. Is your brand modern, playful, bold, feminine? For example, Nike uses a bold font which represents strength, and Zara uses a thin font which gives off the chic and luxury vibe. Now let's get into picking fonts that fit your brand. Again, fonts are so important because fonts are felt before they're read. They set the mood. Kaya walked you through all things branding. So I want you to consider your brand identity. Are you elegant? If so, you can use serif or script fonts. Are you modern and minimal? If so, you can use clean sans serif fonts. Are you playful? You can use round, bold, or fun fonts. No matter what font you use, it's important to also decide the type of style you want to use within that font. So what I mean by this is, are you going to use all caps? Because all caps feels bold and commanding, where italics can feel elegant or personal, and lowercase comes off as soft, casual, or modern. So now that we went over the mindset behind fonts, let's choose your fonts. You'll be choosing one font for your headline, aka your text hook, and one font for your body text, aka your captions. I don't want to confuse you, but I do want you to keep in mind that every font can be used as a headline or a body text. You'll just decide what resonates best with your brand based on the steps we discussed earlier. Let's talk about CapCut. CapCut, surprisingly, has a huge library of fonts already built in. This works to your advantage. Before we get into this, do not judge me, pray for me, for how I pronounce these words, because I don't know if I'm getting it right or not, but we're gonna go with it. Some of the most popular headline fonts include Anton, which is great for bold, modern brands, Play for Display, which gives a classy editorial look, and Reenie Beanie, which gives a fun, casual vibe. And here are some of the most popular body text fonts. System. It's easy to read and it matches well with so many different fonts. Montserrat is so popular, it's modern, and it's very easy to read. Poppins, round and friendly, and it's very popular by lifestyle and soft vibe brands. But what I love most about this is you can test this out directly on your videos. You don't have to go to another app to decide what fonts you should play with. So I want to encourage you, when you're picking your fonts, go ahead, go to your CapCut, upload a video, and just play around with your text hook and your caption font. This is going to give you an easy way to visualize your fonts that you choose in motion with the style of videos that you create. Just keep in mind, a lot of the fonts that you see on CapCut are also on Canva, but not all of them. So it's worth checking both tools to see if the font that you actually want to use is available on both sites. And then if it's not, you have to make the decision of where are you actually going to be creating the most content to determine what font makes more sense to use on the platform that you engage with the most. I paired some fonts together that you can try for your content. Play for Display and Montserrat, Babus New and Open Sans, Pinion Script and Railway, Pinion Script and Play for Display, Allegra and Lotto. I hope those font pairings helped you, because your typography is more than just design. It's how you steward the message that God gave you. The way you present your words helps them land with clarity, intention, alignment. So take the time to be intentional, but do not overthink it. Start with what you have, stay consistent, and trust that as you continue to show up in excellence, God is going to open doors for you. Today, we are building a cohesive feed together. I'm going to show you the entire process. And I know how easy it can be to get caught up in making everything perfect. But remember, your value and consistency in posting is what actually matters. But in today's lesson, we're going to walk through how you can use the mood board, how we can use your brand colors and your fonts to begin working on creating something you truly enjoy, that's visually aesthetic and draws your audience to your page. But most importantly, it's about focusing on one thing at a time and building from consistency to creating a visually cohesive feed. Because let's be real, this is going to take time, and I don't want you to get caught up in not posting because it doesn't look exactly how you want it to look. So let's get into it. This is my current feed and I'm absolutely in love with it. So as you can see, it has a lot of neutrals. There's some blues in there, pinks, browns, creams, greens, and it just all works together. But I want you to take note of my feed. So there's a bunch of different angles. So you see this one's more of an overhead. This one is super close. This one is in front of me. This is me taking the photo of myself in the mirror. This is at a up top angle pointing down. This is a point of view shot. We have a picture with text on it. And then this is truly just a visual from the actual video that I posted. And then I added this one on top with some text. So it just all flows and works together. And so I want to walk through what it looks like crafting something from scratch. So let's scroll to our mock feed and you guys are going to have access to this. And today we're going to be doing a Christian fitness coach with the colors that we've been going with. So based on what I showed you in the brand colors, we are going to be doing the neutrals with some greens and some pinks. And so I have already uploaded a bunch of pictures that we can use and play around with. So to start, what you're gonna do is just start dragging some pictures in. So let's just see what everything looks like. And I'm truly doing this from the very beginning. I downloaded the pictures, but I haven't added anything into it yet. Okay, we're gonna keep playing with it. So right now, honestly, it doesn't look bad, but let's clean it up a little bit and just see if we can make it look even better. So I really want to have something with text on it. So let's see what that looks like. Mm, I do like the grocery bag one, but maybe, yeah, that looks more clean to me. And then let's see. No, let's try this somewhere else. Hmm. I kind of like it right there. Honestly, I like this. Okay, that was quick. So let me just try to play around. So this is actually really, really cute. So I just want you to take note. So these are neutral colors. We have different photo styles of the girl. And here's one where her face is covered. She's drinking a drink. She's typing on her phone. So she's a fitness coach. So this is why I'm trying to display the types of food. We have some information on this photo, which let's say this is too dark. You can click edit, adjust. We can just make it a little brighter just so it's even more cohesive. You can do the same. And then we have this one, which is basically just like a flat lay photo. We have some browns in here and it just all blends. This center picture just brings everything together. So it has the nudes, we have some white, pink, green, and it just allows everything else to flow. So this is giving a neutral Christian fitness coach aesthetic with some greens and some pinks. And another thing to keep in mind is that let's say you absolutely love this feed right here. What you could do is yes, you can use their pictures for your Instagram feed, which I did. Right here, you can see this photo is not mine, and this photo is not mine, and this photo is not mine. But these ones are all me. So you just want to keep in mind that if you're going to use photos from Pinterest, you want to try to recreate as many as you possibly can. I've seen a picture like this on Pinterest, which is why I was able to take a photo like that and then post it there. So you want to use these as inspiration for your actual Instagram feed instead of just using a bunch of pictures that aren't from you because you want people to be drawn to you. This is what's going to make you stand out. So what you can do after you've made your mock feed, you can add these photos to your content bank because your content bank is your idea list of pictures and videos that you could take. And I really want to encourage you to not make this harder on yourself than it needs to be. Don't overwhelm yourself. If this feels like too much, then you do not have to do it. But I do encourage you to start somewhere. And I want to just scroll through my Instagram feed so that you can have a example of what it looks like when you evolve over time. So, like I was showing you, this is my current feed right now. If you scroll down a little bit more, now here I'm moving into some greens. I still have the creams, there's some blacks, but it still all ties together. But whenever I scroll down, you're going to notice that I was playing around with different fonts because I couldn't choose and I was just trying to play around with it. So you're going to notice how this section right here isn't my favorite, but I was just trying to see what works. So you don't have to stick to one thing, and over time, your page is going to evolve and it's going to grow into what you actually want it to be. So even when I scroll down here, here you can see it's a lot of neutrals. There's not really a pop of color. It's just like a more moody type of neutral vibe. You can scroll down even more. And here, I love these 9 photos. So this has the pinks and the whites and the greens and the blacks, and there's some blues in there. So everything all works together. So I'm sharing this with you to give you some encouragement that you're not always going to have something super aesthetic when you're playing around with things. And I don't want you to get caught up in not posting just because you feel like it's not the exact thing that you want it to be. And I also want to show you something really fast. So you saw how I have a picture with text on it. You can actually make something like that yourself. You can just click text, one day at a time. You can change it to your font. And let's just do play for display. You can add some effects. So that one had a little curve. You can do whatever kind of curve you want. Let's go to the colors. Let's click this light green. And then you can change the background color. Let's say you want a dark green, or you want a light green like that, or you want a nude. That might be hard to see, but then you can change the color. Let's try dark green. And then let's go back to here. And you can screenshot. If you have a Mac, you can click Command Shift 4 and I just drag it. And now it's a picture and I can put that in somewhere and just see where it works and what fits. Let's say I decide to move it here. I personally am not feeling it, but you get the gist. You can make it however you want it. You are not constricted to what everyone else thinks it should look like. And then you can also go back to Pinterest. You can type in neutral wellness feed, and people will have examples. So this is very outdated where there's a bunch of pictures with text all over it. I see a lot more and a lot more videos and pictures that do well have actual pictures with text versus these plain white screens with black text on it as the first actual picture. So you can click it and then it's going to pull up a lot more examples. And then again, you can get trapped in Pinterest and just keep scrolling and scrolling. So here's a neutral wellness type of vibe. And this looks like it would be a clothing brand. But do you see what I mean? Like If you're feeling stuck at all, you can always go back to Pinterest, type in, and ask for an example, and it will give it to you. So I really pray that this blessed you, that you're excited to make your mock feed or your Instagram. It's going to look so amazing, and I'm so excited to see it. Okay, before I teach you how to film your content for your content day, you need a pre-filming checklist. This is going to set you up for success and ensure that you don't have to spend more time refilming something because you accidentally skipped a step. Trust me, I have done this so many times and I wish I had this checklist when I first started because I've filmed before and the audio didn't work. I've filmed before and the lighting wasn't right. So I'm here to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. And I'm going to walk you through your pre-filming checklist, which is broken into 4 sections: prep, tools, environment, and finalize. Prep. These are going to be questions that you're going to ask yourself to actually know if you're prepared to film. So ask yourself, is my content calendar completed? Is my content crafted? Do I know what I'm actually doing? Am I filming A-roll, B-roll, cinematic? If I'm filming A-roll, is my script ready? If I'm filming B-roll or cinematic, what shots am I actually taking? This is your reminder that when you have a content day, when you're batching content, you may have an idea to shoot something that you didn't originally have written down. And I want to give you a permission slip to just shoot it, to just go for it. Because you may think of some ideas that you didn't originally have written down in advance, but this is a good thing. Actually taking action on those ideas that pop up in your mind that the Holy Spirit brings to you will actually help you plan in advance. Because over time, the more shots that you take, you'll start to have your own content bank that you can pull from when you're editing your content in the future. Tools. Clean your camera. Make sure the lens that you're shooting with is clean, whether it's on your phone, whether it's the lens for your camera. It is nothing worse than filming something so amazing and then having your fingerprints on the screen. Check your settings. I highly encourage you to film in 4K on your phone and on your camera because this is going to allow you to create a very high quality video. I'll pop up my iPhone settings on the screen, but depending on your camera, it should automatically film in 4K, but it's good just to double check. You'll also want to double check your video recording settings to prevent yourself from accidentally filming in slow-mo and cinematic or in time-lapse when that's actually not what you wanted. Test your audio. Make sure that you're not too close, that it's not muzzled, that it's actually turned on. You don't want to film a whole video and your mic actually wasn't working at all. Check the angle and frame of your video using the rule of thirds. This is the most underrated tip that I personally still use even though I'm not a beginner anymore. You're going to start by ensuring that the grid feature is turned on in your camera settings because the grid feature helps with composition, aka the placement of objects and lines within your video frame. The grid is composed of 9 boxes and the lines are referenced as the lower thirds, the middle thirds, and the upper third. You want to make sure that when you're filming your A-roll where you're talking in front of the camera, that your eyes are in the middle thirds. This gives you space to have your text hook in the upper thirds and your caption towards the line of the lower thirds. I want you to note that the higher up that your eyes are when you first start filming on the grid, the more zoomed in an object is going to be. Environment. Ensure that there is no clutter in your frame. I'm cracking up right now because I have done this so many times in the beginning where I would film something and I go back and watch it and I have a random cup sitting somewhere. I have cleaning products on the table. There's a random shirt sitting on my bed. Like there are so many things that could get in the way of your very nice and perfect shot. Of course, the goal isn't perfection, but you want to do the best you can to remove the clutter when you have the capability to do so. Look, a lot of the people you see online who are filming in these polished houses, everything just looks so clean. I bet you they just moved the clutter out from the shot to make it look that way. So even when you're filming a talking video or a B-roll shot or a cinematic shot, it's okay if your house is dirty, if your house is cluttered, just make sure you move it out of the frame. So grab that cup, put it in the sink. If you have a bunch of clothes on your couch, just pick it up and move it somewhere else. You want to make sure that where you're filming, there is no clutter in the background. Check your lighting. Lighting is one of the most important steps to creating high quality content. My encouragement is to film in natural lighting. You might be thinking, well, I don't have the most aesthetic place with a bunch of natural lighting. Well, if you're in a space that doesn't have a lot of natural lighting, I want you to use a light clip or a ring light to give you the kind of light that you need for the shot. And when you're filming, ensure the lighting is not coming from behind you, but in front of you at all times, unless you're trying to have a certain type of effect that allows you to have a type of silhouette in your frame. And to add a little extra razzle dazzle to your shots, you can have a small light on the side of you or behind you that doesn't take away from the light in front of you to create more depth of range. So you can use a candle like Kaya uses in her videos, or you can use a lamp like I do in mine. And last but not least, finalize. Complete a test shot before you actually film your video. There have been times where I've gone through every single step of this checklist and I still missed something when I did the test run. This is why having a test run is so important, because you may see something that you didn't recognize before and you want to ensure that you have your setup just the way you need it. Now let's get to filming. Let's talk all things equipment. This is going to be your lesson all about equipment basics. So we're going to go over your essential gear and your non-essential gear. Keep in mind that I'm going to be linking everything that I'm sharing with you below. And by the way, equipment is a favorite of mine to talk about. I don't know what it is, but I just love the tech side of things. And this stuff really makes me geek out and excited. So just keep that in mind. As far as essentials goes, you're going to need something to film with. So I suggest using your phone to start out with. You want to start where you can. And if this is all you have, this is perfectly fine. The second thing that you're going to want to have as an essential is a tripod. A tripod is going to allow you to film from a lot of different places. So this is a specific tripod that I suggest. It is super long and tall. So it's like 64 inches. And my favorite thing about this tripod is that I can move this around easily. I can flip it. Once I twist this, I can flip it around so I can get a bunch of different angles. And for me, that is highly important when I'm filming content, because as we're going to discuss, you want to shoot in different angles and ranges to make your content stand out so that you can have different variations in your clips. Another essential is your lighting. This is one of the most important steps when it comes to creating high quality content. So my number one suggestion when it comes to lighting is using the natural light from the sun. And when you're using natural lighting, make sure that the lighting is hitting your face and not coming from behind you. And let's just say you're someone who doesn't have a lot of natural lighting coming into your home. I highly suggest getting a phone light clip that gives you some light. So this is my favorite one that I use. It has a bunch of different settings. So it has a cool setting, a warm setting, and it has a mixture, and then it goes back to cool. And then you can also turn the brightness down and you can also turn it up. So even when it comes to this clip, you want to make sure that is facing you when you're filming, whether you're using the front camera or the back camera. It will be of no use if you're using the back camera and it's facing the other way. Now let's get into all the non-essential gear that I know you're probably wondering about. The first one is microphones, and I just want to let you know that this is not necessary, but it definitely up-levels your content. There are different types of microphones that I want you to be aware of when you're scouting and searching online. So there's an XLR, there's USB, and then there's Bluetooth, aka wireless. When choosing your mic, I want you to think about what's the easiest and what makes sense for you to use. But let me break down what the different types are. So an XLR microphone comes with a really long cord that connects to an audio interface. This is what you're going to see most high-level, high-tech podcasters use. You're going to see a lot of musicians use it, but this one I wouldn't suggest getting, because I'm telling you, it is super high-tech. It's really expensive, and it's truly not needed for content creation. I mean, you can just for the look of it, but you don't want to do things just for the presentation. There are other quality, products that you can use to get a similar result. So that brings me to a USB. So you can look for USB microphones, which is the USB in that you can connect to your laptop, to your computer. But keep in mind, if you get a USB microphone, you may not be able to connect it to your phone unless it also has the capability to use Bluetooth. And when it comes to Bluetooth microphones, this is going to be your best bet when it comes to choosing a microphone for your content, because this is going to automatically connect to your phone. I actually just purchased a new Bluetooth microphone and I got the DJI Mic Minis. The reason why I got this is because it has a magnetic attachment. It's small and I can connect it to my camera. I can connect it to my computer. I can connect it to my phone. So it's a super versatile type of microphone that I can use for multiple things. I also want to tell you the mic to avoid. So I know you guys have seen that little bitty mic that people are using on Instagram, on TikTok, that sounds like you're underwater. It's super cheap. It's like $20, $30, and I get it. It's tempting because it doesn't cost that much, but it truly doesn't sound good. It doesn't. And I know that you may think that, oh, when I'm in the editing process, I'll be able to fix it. No, the best, highest quality videos are the best ones when they are recorded the proper way. And so what I suggest is if you only have the capability to buy something that cheap, I would just not use a microphone because the audio that comes with the iPhone is actually very good. So if you are one of those people who are going to be shooting content with your phone, just make sure when you're filming this content that your phone is closer to you so we can hear you clearly. And then you just want to make sure you're projecting your voice. And you want to do the same thing when you're filming your voiceovers with no microphone, is just ensuring that you can hear yourself, you're speaking clearly, and your phone is closer to your mouth. Another non-essential, but my absolute favorite, is a professional camera and accessories. A great starter camera is the Sony ZV-E10, but I'm also going to pop up some other examples on the screen that you can use to start your journey. But please hear me when I say this. Do not go into debt because you want a camera. That's what I did when I first started. I bought a camera, put it on the credit card, and look, eventually my camera got stolen. God used it as a lesson, so it's okay. But I just want to tell you, utilize a camera when you have the capability to get one. Don't go into debt because you think that you need one, or you think that if you get a camera, it's going to take you to the place where you want to be, when God is the one that's going to do that for you. Let's talk about lenses. So a lens actually comes with the camera. That's called a kit lens, but that's not necessarily the highest quality of a lens that you can get. So most of the time when you're seeing people on YouTube, you're seeing people on Instagram, and they have that real crispy video, it's because they have probably spent at least 500 to 2K to 3K on a lens. And this is why I'm sharing that this is a non-essential, but it does make a difference. And just keep in mind, based on the type of camera you get, you want to make sure the lens you get is compatible with your camera. The worst thing would be to buy on accident a Canon lens when you have a Sony camera. A universal lens brand is Sigma that you can use for both Canon and Sony. A lens I suggest getting is a wide angle lens and a 16mm lens. This lens is going to have that blurred background that you love so much. And one of my favorite accessories that people don't even know about is a dummy battery. So when you get a camera and you're filming for long periods of time, the battery that you have doesn't last very long. And so people will come up with the struggle of wanting to batch create and film for hours, and they're confused how people are doing it. Well, they're doing it because they have a dummy battery. And what a dummy battery is a battery that connects to your camera but also plugs in to a wall, and it allows you to film for however long you want. So if I have my battery connected, the dummy battery, and I have my camera on for days, it'll stay on for days. So I really pray that all this equipment talk blessed you, that it excited you, and that you choose what's best for you. Let's get into filming your A-roll videos. I hope you have your script ready because it's time to record. But you might be thinking, where do I record? I want to give you some ideas of places that you can record that do not require a fancy setup. You can film in places like your car. You can do it walking on a treadmill. You really want to choose what works best for your brand. Another popular one is filming in a chair. So whether it's in your living room, in your bedroom, in your bathroom, you really just want to make sure where you're filming, it is in alignment with who you are called to serve and what looks best for you, and something that you can actually be consistent with. And just remember, you may see people with all these fancy setups, but it's not required when you're first starting. Where I'm filming right now, having the tree behind me, having the lamp, having the journals, I didn't start there. I started by just sitting on my couch with nothing behind me. So this is why I really want to emphasize that wherever you decide to film, just make sure that you're not sitting up against the wall. We still want to have some type of depth of range, which gives that podcast style look when you're filming your talking videos. You are building familiarity within your brand while also having that cohesive look, so that when people see your video, they don't even have to look at the name. They recognize where you're filming. They recognize the location, and that's why it's important, as I discussed earlier, to pick two that you can be consistent with. And the thing is, you can sprinkle in other locations over time as you build that brand presence online. This is the behind the scenes of how I would film an A-roll video. So I'm doing it without my fancy setup. I just have my tripod and my phone, and I'm sitting in one of my locations, which is my couch. So this means that I do not have all the props in the background, but what I do have is my personal body. I have the lighting. I did my pre-filming checklist. So I have everything set in stone to know that I'm ready to go when it's actually time to press record to film my content. I'm not using an external mic. I'm just using the microphone on my phone. So something that I previously mentioned is that you want to make sure that you're not sitting up against the wall. So even though my couch is against the wall, I'm making sure that I'm scooted forward because I want to create that depth of range. So despite you not having, an extravagant background, this still helps create that type of depth so you're not just like a poster on the wall. I also have my script nearby. So even as I'm filming these videos and I'm talking to you, I have my script on my iPad sitting right next to me. It's just sitting out of the frame. So that's exactly what I'm going to do with this video. So normally I would have it sitting right in front of me, but I'm going to scoot it to the side so you can see my face, but you get the gist of what I'm doing. I've already cleaned my camera. It's on the setting that I want it on. Actually, no, it's not. So this is why it's good to check. I have to press video. So now I can see my face through there. The lighting is good. I have my script. And so this is how I would actually film an A-roll video. I have my script in my lap. I want to make sure that it's not actually in the video. So the thing is, if it is in the video, which I would have to press record to test to see, I can also press this up button on my iPhone. So that's me testing to see. Now I'm going to stop it. I'm going to look and see if the actual iPad is in the clip, which no, it's not. So I can keep my iPad right here without it being in the clip. So this is something you need to double check when you're going through your pre-filming checklist to ensure you test everything that you're doing before you actually get to film it. Because remember, you don't want to film something and have to redo it because something you didn't want in the shot is in the shot. Another way that I could do it is just by leaving it on this table and having it next to me so that I can keep referencing the script. So I just want to let you know, I have this script written, but I do not know the words. So this is truly how I would go about this filming process. Don't laugh at me, okay? But I really want to give you the realistic behind the scenes of what it looks like to film an A-roll video, because I don't want you to think that people just have things memorized, because they don't. And a lot of the times people will repeat themselves over and over until they get it right. And so that's exactly what I'm about to do. I'm so excited. Okay, let's go. I'm so excited to share that because of your help with picking your favorite black fabric, I was able to order a sample for our second journal drop. Okay. I'm gonna put it a little more in front of me so that I don't have to move my eyes too much. And another tip, when you're talking, you want to make sure that when you stop saying a sentence, you don't automatically look away or move your head or move in general, because you want to make sure that you get the clip that you need. Because I've done this before where I filmed a clip and I said something and I moved too fast. And then when I actually get to the editing portion, I didn't give myself enough time to actually have a clean cut for the next video. Okay, let's start. I'm so excited to share that because of your help with picking your favorite black fabric, I was able to order. I'm so excited to share that because of your help with picking your favorite black fabric. I'm so excited to share that because of your help. I'm so excited to share that because of your help with picking your favorite black fabric, we were able to order our second journal for our next drop. Also, something to keep in mind is that I just changed the wording as I was talking, and that's totally okay. Sometimes it is best to stick to the script, but you also want to allow the Holy Spirit to move when He wants to move. While this journal is going to be aesthetic on the outside, the inside is truly what makes this product stand out and so special. The inside, yeah. While this journal is aesthetic on the outside, the inside is what truly makes this product stand out and so special. While this journal is going to be aesthetic on the outside, it's the inside. The inside is what truly makes this product stand out and so special. While this journal is going to be aesthetic on the outside, the inside is what truly. While this journal is going to be aesthetic on the outside, it's the inside that actually makes this journal stand out and what makes it so special. Over a year ago, God gave me the title and focus of this journal. Over a year ago, God gave me the focus and title of this journal, which is all about helping you be present in the moment to prosper no matter what you're going through. There were moments when I cried when I created this because I just felt so much pressure. There were moments when I cried creating this. There were moments when I cried creating this because I just felt so much pressure with writing. So do you see what I'm saying? Like, I resaid the same thing over and over until I got the verbiage right, until I got the tone right. And sometimes that is truly just what it looks like when I'm filming my A-roll videos. So I want you to take the pressure off of yourself from feeling like you have to get it right the first time. Another tip that you can do to create more of the podcast style video is by putting your phone in cinematic mode. And so a lot of the newer iPhones have cinematic mode. So what I did is I just pressed the cinematic right there. And so now that I have that set up, another thing I can do to make my setup more podcast style is by having the props in the background. So what I'm going to do is just move my camera this way so you can see. And here I'm going to have my phone right here, and I would do the same exact thing. I would press record. It's giving the background footage. So let me even zoom it out even more so I can see everything. I'm going to scoot it over so this camera can see my face. But now you can see me. You see the props in the back and it's blurring out the background, and this creates a podcast style look. So another thing that you might be wondering is, how are people doing the side view with this A-roll? So all they're doing is turning sideways and talking. You're just pretending like you're talking to someone and you're just looking outwards. This is a great way to utilize your script without actually having to do what I just showed you that I did. So you can have your script in front of you and you can just plainly read it. But make sure that when you're reading it, you don't look like a zombie. You don't want to just look dead in your face. You want to give your verbiage. You want to give your vibe. Like, you don't want to just read it and be so monotone. Like, give it your best, because I can tell when I'm looking at other people's content that they're reading off of a script. You don't want to give or imply that you're reading off a script, which it's fine if you do in the beginning, because remember, the more reps you put in, the better you're going to become. But it truly just gives your audience a better connection with you when you show up giving your absolute best, which is not just reading it just to read it, just to put out, like, talk with some passion. Something else that I want to point out is that you're using the grid feature that I showed you in your pre-filming checklist. So this whole time I've had it up, but I didn't really discuss it because the camera wasn't in front of my face. So I just want to also show you what that looks like. So right now the grid feature is on. Let me move it forward so you can see it. But you can see all the lines that are on my camera. So what I'm doing when I'm actually setting up is ensuring that, like I told you, my eyes are in the middle of the frame, that my eyes are in the middle thirds, so that the text hook can be in the upper thirds and the captions can be in the lower thirds. So let me see if that's how I'm sitting. So you can press film, and then I'm going to stop it, and then I'm going to take a look. So no, it was way too close. So I'm going to scoot this back some more so I can get the right shot. So again, we want our eyes to be in the middle thirds, our text hook to be in the upper thirds, and our captions to be on the line of the lower thirds. And so as I'm sitting here and I'm talking, I'm making sure that that's exactly what the footage looks like. So the video that I have here, I'm not as centered as I would want to be. Like, I would have fixed it. But the thing is, I was trying to show my face to this camera so that you guys could see me. But I really pray that this blessed you and that this set you up for success to create all of your amazing A-roll videos. I can't wait to see it. Make sure you tag me so I can support you. What probably kept you from creating content in the past is feeling like you had to constantly film when you actually don't. I'm going to show you how to get different variations of clips that you can piece together to tell a story. And we do this by creating B-roll and cinematic shots. Both B-roll and cinematic involve lifestyle shots, but what makes the difference is how these clips are actually put together. B-roll is used to combine different clips together to create one video, while cinematic is painting a picture with your clips by showing different depths of ranges and angles. Here are two videos that I've created that show exactly what I mean. The video on the left is a B-roll collage which shows me telling a story with different clips from different days, while the video on the right is a cinematic style video where I'm showing clips from the same day telling a story by showing the different depths of ranges and angles. Both of these types of shots can be used to enhance your A-roll videos by overlapping supplementary footage when you're referencing something just like this one. What we ended up doing was taping the packages together for orders of more than one, and I was so embarrassed because I didn't properly prepare. Here are the ways that you can get different variations in your clips. Depth of range. A wide shot displays the location and context of your video. Medium shot. This displays actions without showing too much detail. Close-up shot. This shows point of view, and it's easy to get a lot of clutter out of your video frame, providing a more aesthetic clip. So if you're someone who feels like you don't have an aesthetic home, this is the type of shot that you're most likely going to use. You can also use the cinematic mode on your phone, which allows you to have that blurred background whenever you're filming. And one of my absolute favorite shots is the extreme close-up shot. This shows the details that you normally miss. So when you're filming these types of videos, you're basically highlighting these small moments that most people would overlook. Genuine interactions is another way to get variation in your clip. You can do this by filming yourself talking to someone, ordering coffee at the coffee shop, having a meeting with your client on your laptop, talking on the phone with your friend. This just allows you to get a more organic type of footage when you're putting together your content while also giving a more authentic feel. But keep in mind, when you're filming these B-roll and cinematic shots, I want you to only film this for 10 to 20 seconds. And then I also suggest when you're filming these genuine interactions to maximum film for 3 to 5 minutes, because the thing is, you're going to trim these sections down a lot and you don't want to take up a bunch of storage in your phone when it's really not needed. By doing this, you're going to be able to capture content more quickly. I'm going to show you the behind the scenes of exactly how I film my B-roll shots and my cinematic shots, which means that I'm basically just getting the same shots at different depths of range and at different angles. So all I need for this video is my tripod, and then I also have my cell phone. Make sure you clean storage off your phone so that you actually have the space to film all the videos that you need. I already know that what I want to film today is going to be behind the scenes footage of me doing what I would normally do as a business coach. So the thing is, I want to make it more aesthetic than sitting at my actual desk. So that is why I decided to shoot it from my couch today. And what I'm going to do is get my actual iPad and sit on the couch, and that's going to be my baseline of this video. Of course, clean your phone. I'm not going to be talking, so I'm not checking the mic. I'm going to make sure I click video and decide at what depth of range I want to do first. So So for me, I want to ensure that I have a clip of my journal in the background, and I also want to have a glimpse of the actual prop that I have, which is my lamp. And this is where I'm going to be sitting. So depending on if I actually like the footage of how it looks with me on the actual blanket will determine if I keep it or not. So I'm going to do a test shot to see what it actually looks like before I even get my iPad. This is how I would be sitting at first, probably on my computer. I don't feel like I'm gonna like it. Let's see. It could work, but I'm just gonna take it out. This is why it's good to test your shots to determine if you're actually gonna like it or not. So now that I know that I don't want that, I'm gonna go ahead and get my iPad. And I know that you guys can see the actual blanket in the shot, but on my video, you cannot see it. And so that's why I taught you before that in your pre-filming checklist to check your environment in the actual frame, because you can have clutter around, you just don't want clutter to be in the actual video footage. So I'm gonna go ahead and press fill. I'm going to set up my shot here. And I'm just gonna play around on my iPad and get a few seconds of footage that I can use for later. Okay. Now that that's done, we're gonna stop it. And then I'm gonna do the same exact thing, except I'm gonna zoom it in ×2. And then I might even just angle it a little bit, pull it a little bit back. And now I'm gonna press go again. So I'm gonna press record. I'm gonna go again, do the same action that I did before. So I'm gonna scroll, I'm gonna type. Okay, now that I have that footage, I'm gonna move the camera to another angle to get the same vibe. This is giving me a variety of clips that I can use for different occasions and for different videos based on the story that I'm telling. I really love this side angle view, and sometimes you may have to get creative and put your phone on your couch or, you know, whatever you want to use. So my phone is set up right here in front of me. I'm doing the same exact thing again. I'm just repeating the action. So I'm gonna go ahead and type some more. I might even get some shots thinking. Because I'm trying to paint the picture of what I'm doing. And I know it may seem silly. I feel silly all the time, but that's what we got to do to get the shot. So now what I want to do is get a point of view shot of the same exact thing that I'm doing. You can either use your tripod or you can use your hand. If you have really shaky hands, I would suggest going ahead and using the tripod and just angling it. Maybe I'll show you exactly how I do that. So what I'll do is get back in my position. I'm going to close this. This is where I had my iPad. This does take a little talent sometimes. So what you'll do is put your phone back in here in your tripod, and then I'm going to go ahead and click either one or two based on what my preference is. And so I like the one. So what I'm gonna do is scroll through what I'm looking at, keeping my hand still, so that it's still painting the picture of what I already depicted in the other videos. You can also do it with your hand, and you can just get yourself typing it even closer. So I'm gonna do the extreme close-up and get me typing. So I'm gonna use the 3, and I would just type like this. And then you can kind of play around with the direction of what looks best. So the original direction didn't look good to me, so I'm going to do a different one. And this would work really, really well on the tripod as well. It truly just takes practice on what works best for what you know how to do. And so this is going to be the same exact shot that I just did holding it. So I'm going to press record, and then I'm going to use both hands to type. There we go. That is exactly how I would film the B-roll shots with the point of view. The thing is, when you're doing these cinematic shots, you're doing exactly what I just showed you. You're just doing it in a specific order. What I just showed you is specific to my brand alignment, my content strategy, and the specific things that I will personally use. So when you're going into these content days, that's why it's so important to have that content strategy, having your content bank. You can always refer to the content bank to create content that you might not have, remembered if you were shooting it on the spot. But as you continue to become proficient at filming content, you're going to be able to come up with different ideas as you're filming, and you want to go ahead and just film those things. You don't want to feel rigid to the plan. You want to be flexible and allow the Holy Spirit to flow through you as you're filming this content. And so what I did today was allow me to create specific B-roll shots that I can then layer on top of my A-roll shots, or I can use it for a collage of a bunch of different B-roll shots that I can use for different occasions. This allows you to utilize and stretch your content even more than just filming in one spot with one outfit in one angle. This is the behind the scenes of filming content with no plan. We want to maximize your time as much as possible because look, I know you're busy. I know you have things to do. So we're going to do the best that we can to get a lot of content in a short amount of time because we don't have 6 hours to be filming all day. I'm going to be using these same techniques that I've already showed you. Now I'm just putting in action. This is going to be very realistic, and I want you to be able to replicate my success, replicate exactly what I'm doing so you can make the most out of your time. And when you do this, I want you to refer to your content bank and your content strategy to make sure that what you're creating is in alignment with your brand. And what's in alignment with my brand is showing how I prioritize my relationship with God as a founder. And I do that with journaling and reading the Bible. So let's get as many shots as we can in 2 minutes, and we can count how many shots that I actually got at the end. I have my 2-minute timer ready to go. So whenever it's officially time to start creating this content, I'm going to press start, and then we're going to see how much we can get done in this amount of time. Something else to keep in mind to ensure that you're actually filming in the right amount of time is have your props nearby. So I have my Best Believe journal, I have my Bible, I have my pen, and my desk is already set up and ready to go. So let's get to it. I'm going to start painting a picture of the scene. 2 minutes. I'm looking at my camera roll and I got 9 pieces of content in just 2 minutes. And everything that I filmed is very high quality. So just know the more you show up, the more you put it into practice, the better you'll become. And the thing is, you don't even have to film it in 2 minutes. You can give yourself 10 minutes. You can give yourself 30 minutes. However much time you decide to spend, you want to do what works best for you and the time that you have to dedicate to creating high quality content. Welcome to your editing module. This is all about your introduction to CapCut. So editing is one of my absolute favorite things to do. I find so much joy in editing. It's so peaceful to me, and I'm just excited to show you exactly how I edit. So this is going to be the basic navigation and tools that I use, but I'm going to be showing you a lot of gems and shortcuts that is going to help you edit faster, even just providing you an even higher quality edit. So I'm going to be using CapCut, of course, and I'm going to be using the desktop version. You can use your phone, but I really want to encourage you to use your desktop because you can move through your edits so much faster, and it will help with a wrinkled neck as you keep going, and helps with back pain and neck pain and all those things. And so I really just encourage you to use it. And as I'm going through this, I'm going to be showing you some just shortcuts that help me as I'm editing on the desktop. But just a reminder again, is that what I'm showing you right now on the desktop version is going to look the same on your iPhone. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be editing an A-roll video that I shot maybe 2 months ago, and it's about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I already dragged it in. So let's go ahead and add it to the track. So as you can already tell, it is horizontal and not vertical. So what I'm going to do is click the ratio button, and I'm going to change it to the short form layout, which is 9:16. So now it's going to position it differently. The ratio is different. So now all I need to do is I can flip it upside down, or I can manually type it in. Let's put 90, and now it's perfectly straight. So then I'm going to position it, drag it open. Okay, so I have it perfectly fitting in the frame. I want us to watch majority of the video that I took just so you can see what it looks like in action when you're filming your A-roll video, and how we're gonna get this cut up way shorter, where it's fluent, where your audience is super engaged throughout your whole video. So let's go ahead and watch it. Alrighty. Okay. God is calling you for more joy, more peace, more income. So what's stopping you? I was like, did I press record? Okay. You have a vision so big on the inside of you, and I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. You have a vision so big on the inside of you, and God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. So what is stopping you? You have a vision so big on the inside of you, and I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. That's my fault. The speaker was still on. All right. God is calling you for more joy, more peace, more income. So what's stopping you? You have a vision so big on the inside of you, and I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. So what is your next step? I think I like, what is my next step? Okay. So as you can see, this video has a bunch of pauses, and we're going to need to cut all of it out. So we're not going to do this the long way. We're going to do this the most efficient way, and that's by using the transcription tool. So this is under the free plan. I pay for the pro because I believe that it's highly vital in my business. And so let's go ahead and use the transcription tool. Sometimes it takes a while, and we're just going to wait. I used to go the super long route of editing videos, so I'm so happy that they have the option of text to edit. So what I love about this is that you can see where you've said the same thing multiple times. I go straight to where I'm like, okay, I said God is calling you for more. God is calling you for more. So I know that I reset it. I'm just gonna delete all this. There it goes again. God is calling you for more. Said it again. God is calling you for more. So I'm going to cut everything that I said before and just press delete. So now I have the original version. God is calling you for more joy, more peace, more income. So what's stopping you? You have a vision so big on the inside of you, and I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. What's my next step? But because I did that clip so many times, I was able to memorize it. So I'm going to press Command Z on my keyboard to go backwards and bring back the whole video. And I'm going to use a section where I'm breaking up multiple pieces to then add it into one video. But this is just for demonstration purposes. If I was really editing this for my page, I would just use the last clip. But I really want to show you a good example. So let's use God is calling you for more. We're going to highlight this and press delete. So God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. So what is stopping you? So it's going to have a break, a pause right here. So this is to get all the extra like dead space. And the reason why you don't want to have this dead space is not only because your audience is going to get bored and click away, but it just doesn't sound good and it doesn't look good. And you want to provide the highest quality content that you can. And if you can do it, why not edit it that way? So we're going to click it, remove it. Now let's see what it sounds like. Is stopping you. You have a vision so big on the inside of you. And I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. So then I'm going to press here, delete, and then I'm going to highlight. So I said your life can look like that vision. So what's stopping you? So this is the last thing that I have in this actual script. So I'm going to highlight that whole thing, press delete, delete the last thing. And let's see what God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. So what is stopping you? You have a vision so big on the inside of you. And I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. What's my next step? God is Okay, so now that we have our baseline of the video, there are still parts of extra dead space that we need to cut out. So what I'm going to do is zoom into the video. So you can just tell as you zoom in where to cut because there's going to be some dead space. And so normally I would just press B on my desktop keyboard and this would bring the blade tool and I can cut it and then press A to go back to the pointer tool and then I would just delete it. But and I'm going to press Command Z to go back to undo what I just did. I want to play it and then I'm going to show you what it looks like on the actual iPhone. We're just going to drag it back. Stopping you. So as you can see, there's that dead space. So we're going to drag the end part over. Stopping you. You have a vision. Stopping you. You have a vision so big on the inside. Stopping you. And sometimes it will take, so this is called a fade tool. You can use it if it's like a rough sounding cut. You have a vision so big. So I know you hear that thump. So in reality, I would use the end of the video because of that thump right there. You have a vision. Because even if when we do the editing of the audio, it's not going to take that out. You have a vision. And it's really not that big of a deal, but I really try to shoot for excellence when I'm editing. So let's listen to the next part where there is that break. So I want you to look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1. So that one sounds really good. Let's see what the end sounds like. Not 0 to 10. What's my next step? Boom. Stop. We would crop it shorter. If I didn't crop it shorter, this is what it would sound like. What's my next step? The thought process. What's my next step? What's my next step? The thought process behind this is that you want people to stay when your video is looping on your Instagram or your TikTok or wherever you're posting this short form video. And so the quickest way to get those views up is having them re-watch the video. So we want to make sure we're cutting it off at the end, which is something easy to ignore and not see. And if you're utilizing the iPhone version, CapCut normally has like this black CapCut thing. You want to click it and press delete so that there's not a whole black space at the end of your video. So the next thing that I want to do when I'm editing this video for my workflow is to go to the audio. So whenever you click a video, you can highlight the whole thing. We're going to click the audio button up here. And then we have a bunch of different options that we can use. I highly suggest using the reduce noise button or the enhance voice button, because I make sure when I'm filming my video that I'm using a high quality mic. I normally don't even use the enhance voice. I just use reduce noise. So let's go ahead and click reduce noise. So now that we clicked reduce noise, let's listen to it. God is calling you for more peace. So let's unclick it so you can hear it again, regular. Joy, more income. So what is calling you for more peace? You can hear the air in the background a lot more when reduce noise is not clicked. So every time you click something and you play with your audio, you want to double check, click and unclick to see what it sounds like before, to reset your ears so you can notice those small things. So I'm going to listen to it one more time. God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. So what is stopping you? Okay, so we have our audio and it sounds good. If you want to play around with this whenever you're utilizing CapCut, definitely do this. But if you're prioritizing using a quality mic, then you shouldn't have to edit, your audio quality that much. So let's get into captions. Captions are really fun. So what you're gonna do is click the captions button right here, and then I'm just gonna click generate. And so what you're gonna wanna make sure that you're doing is have your typography, your fonts that you picked, and the visual brand identity section. You wanna make sure that you know exactly what you're gonna use. And the thing is, you can make the editing process faster by starring the actual fonts that you use. So for example, I'm clicking here, and these are gonna be my top fonts that I play around with. And this just makes editing so much faster, like I was sharing. But I want you to notice how my text is pretty large, and I really want it to be a little more higher because you want to remember that on Instagram, the height of, the caption is pretty high up there. So it's best to put it closer to the line of the middle thirds, like we talked about. So I'm gonna raise it up, and right now I have it as apply to all. If I unclick this and I made it edit, like made it bold, it wouldn't make all of the text bold. So right now I'm gonna keep it as apply to all, and I'm gonna make the text a little smaller. And this is just preference. If you want it big, you can make it big, but I highly suggest making it a little smaller and also paying attention, because when you're posting your videos, this section right here is gonna be where the heart button is, the comment button is, the save or the share button is, especially if you're doing TikTok, even on Instagram. So all of these things you wanna be aware of. Another important aspect is to go through your actual video and make sure that everything is spelled correctly. You wanna make sure that God's name is capitalized, because a lot of the times it does not capitalize. So as you can see, it says God is calling you for more. The G in God is not capitalized, so that's something I'm gonna fix. That's my preference and what I believe. And I've seen people do lower G, but y'all, we gotta stand up. God is big G. So let's more peace, more joy, more income. So what is stopping you? You have a vision so big on the inside of you, and I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that. So another thing that you can do, you see how long this caption is? I'm gonna click the caption button and I'm gonna say more income. So what is stopping you? I click here and I'm gonna press enter. Oops. Okay, so I'm gonna press Command Z. So I split the W and the H, or you can like manually just type the W. But you can press Command Z. And I'm gonna go back, press enter, and it's gonna separate those two. You can also do this on the iPhone. I feel like all of these are like way too long for my preference. You have a vision so big. And now we're gonna go through. Your life can look like that vision. So I want you to think. So this is split up. I don't like that. So I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. And then I'm gonna add quotation marks because this is what they would ask themselves. What's my next step? So now that I have my captions right, okay, I'm going back and I'm checking. I see that the G is separated from OD. So I'm gonna go back and press backspace on God. God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. And honestly, because I'm saying the same thing over again, more peace, more joy, more income, I'm gonna separate those to make it more prominent. So another thing that you can do is, now that I click this, I can press backspace, delete, and it will combine it with this one. So what's stopping you? Joy, more income. So what is stopping you? Okay. So now that our captions are ready to go, the placement is set, we have our font that we want, and now what we're gonna do is do our text hook. So I highly suggest having your text hook at the top of your screen. What I'm gonna do is, instead of making this a regular caption, I'm just gonna use this as the title and then allow the rest of the video to go into the rest of the captions, because I want this statement to be bold. So I'm gonna unclick apply to all, and now you can place your text hook up here. So I want you to notice what I'm doing. I'm making it larger because you can do that up here. And this is, again, gonna be preference for you. Look at your typography, see what your, main font is. And I'm gonna use the Playfair display. And, I'm using white, so we can't see it. We're gonna need to add some background. So what I like to use is shadow or glow. With shadow, I'm just gonna go pull back and you can still see it. Normally, you would be able to see it. I'm not a huge fan of how this looks, even with the opacity brought up. It's still really hard to see. So what I would do is, sometimes you can break the rules. I'm gonna move this to the middle and see what it looks like. And just play around with it until I like it. Another thing that you can do is you can add like a background. I'm not a huge fan of those. You can also, let's see, you can enter a hex code if you want. And what a hex code is basically like whatever the color it is on the actual, chart will give you a hex number, which is what you can use when you're plugging it in anywhere. So I would use more of a nude tone if I was to use this. And just to make it bolder, again, you can put it up here, you can put it in the middle. As you can see, there's a lot of space in between here. So what I'm gonna do is move that closer. I think I'm gonna press the title case, which makes it has the beginning letter of every word capitalized. So let's just say this is what I decide to do. I'm gonna press play. God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. God is calling you for more peace. Now I'm just gonna rewatch it a few times to see if I actually like it or not. I'm really not sure how I feel. God is calling you for more peace. So another thing that I could do is if I'm not, married to choosing white, I can use black. I could take the background out. I can move my text back up, make it a little larger, and then make it black. For me, that just looks like more of my vibe than having a box. But what I'm gonna look at, just because I wanna show you, is the glow feature. So this glow feature, it does come with the free version. You don't need to use this one. You can use the intensity. You can kind of just make it stand out. I don't suggest doing a lot, but it's just, adds a little razzle dazzle to your video. But me personally, I'm not gonna use it. Just wanted to show you. Okay, so I have that text going. Let's play it again. God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. So what is stopping you? So now that we cut and trim, we did our audio, we did our captions, we did our text hook. Now what we're gonna do is video enhancing. This is where it gets fun. This is where you get to get creative and do what you wanna do. So video enhancing involves adding things like music, adding audio sounds, adding video transition or effects. And me personally, I don't use transitions, but I'm gonna show you a few that are most popular. A great thing with CapCut, like I showed you with your fonts, you can save the audios that you like the most. So the first thing that we're gonna do is go to the audio section and go to yours. So these are a lot of the ones that I use consistently, and some I just add just in case I want to use it. But some popular ones is the pop sound. This is a swish. There's a typing sound. Mouse click. I have different mouse clicks. It's just depending on my mood. This is my most used. This is my second most used. And then here's more keyboard. So these sounds are another way to hook your audience into watching your video. So just some best practices that I do when it comes to it is immediately when the video starts, I add a click. I don't know what it is, but those videos tend to do so much better. So what I'll do is click my most used one and I'll add that in there. And then we're gonna press play. God is calling you for more. So with this one, just from using it multiple times, I need to crop it a little bit, move it to the beginning. So it's like an immediate click. Let's go back and hear it. God is calling you for more. Okay, and then I'm gonna lower the volume. Whatever the volume I choose, we're gonna make that consistent throughout the actual video. God is calling you for more. I believe that's a good sound. I don't know, let's do 4. What's it at? Negative 5.1 dB. God is calling you for more. Okay, I like that. That's perfect. On the desktop, you can just copy and paste it, or you can re-add it in, fix the audio each time. So I'm gonna add these clicks just throughout the video, And you can even turn the volume down a little lower. But I've noticed even when I watch other people's videos, they'll hide this in there and you don't even recognize it unless you're truly looking for it and paying attention. And me, I like to study other people's videos just to see, you know, what they're doing. And that is something that truly does work and something that I notice whenever I do my videos. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it where I believe it would sound good. God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. And then I'm going to put it right here. So what's stopping you? Because I feel like that's a prominent, you know, sentence. More income. So what is stopping? More joy, more income. So what is stopping? Okay, I like that. A thing you want to pay attention to is the location of where you put the actual sound, because I don't want it to click after the text has already shown. So for example, let's say I had it a little off. It would look off in the caption. Income, so what is income? So what is that actually didn't look too bad. Income, so what is there's a delay there. So you want to make sure you can get it as close as possible. When I'm using this specific mouse click, I just make sure the line is in between the two sound. Income, so or income, so yep, so that's perfect. So what I'm gonna do here is, let's see what this looks like when I crop it. You have a vision. So something you can take note of if you happen to miss a step is, you saw what I just did. I'm noticing there's a blank. This is where I didn't speak. So you can always just crop this in between and then delete it just so that extra dead space isn't there. Inside of you. And I'm here to remind you, inside of you. On the inside of you. On the inside of you. On the inside of you. So that's dead space that I didn't notice. So this is why it's really good to go back, rewatch your video. You're probably gonna watch your video so many times. On the inside of you. And now I'm gonna highlight it and crop it back. And I'm here to remind you that your life can look. I'm even noticing right here, I don't actually start speaking till around this area. So I'm gonna crop this a little more. I'm gonna zoom it in. And I'm here to much better you. And I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. So here I go again. Let's go ahead and just crop this now while I noticed. So I want you to think 0 to 1 like that vision. So I want you to perfect. Okay. So now that that's fixed, we can go ahead and add the other clicks on the inside of you. That your life can. So I'm gonna add it right here. Your life can look like that vision. That your life can. That your life. Remind you that your life can look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1. I'm gonna add it one more time right here for the knot. Zoom in so we can get it. 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. What's my next step? So now that we enhanced our video with these clicks, now let's enhance our video with some transitions. So actually, I don't use transitions. Okay. Now that we've enhanced our video with these audio clicks, now I just want to show you what it would look like if you were to add transitions. Again, I don't use transitions, so I'm not going to add it to my video, but I just want to give you just what it would look like. So this is another way to hook someone in besides just doing the audio clicks or the pops or the dings, whatever you want to do. So you just click the transition and it kind of shows you what you can do. It'll actually let you test it out, which I don't like. Look, do you see that? What is this one? No, ma'am. People do use this glitch. Not a fan of the glitch, but that's just me. Here's some basic transitions. Let's see. I've seen people use this where it just slides into the next frame. I've seen people use this one as well. You see how it changed where my body and my face, it's very like slight, but it is something in a way that people are hooked by. I know that a lot of people use this light effect with this glare. I like the glare. I would use the glare personally, depending on the type of video that I'm using. Not for this one. But this is, I'm going to save this for later. This is one of the ones that a lot of people use. I see a lot of people use this burn effect, which is really cool. So I'm more of a fan of the light effects than the actual like video effects, but that's going to be up to you and your preference and what works best for your brand. That one's another cool one too. Just like with your video, you can have animations for your text. So let's say I was to click the text, I could just click animation and use, there's so many that you can use. The most popular that I use is the typewriter. So with that one, you can swipe this button to make it longer.
God is calling you for more.
Which I kind of like that. I'm probably going to use that.
God is calling you for more. God is calling you for more.
Are starred because they're my favorite. The ones that we've been using inside of this course, when you see the front of the video and it says the title, we do the swipe left where it swipes out that way. So again, there's so many of them that you can play with. You can decide what works best for you. This part at the bottom is going to play with
God is calling you for
the time frame of when it's used. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use this typewriter.
God is calling you for more.
Let's say I wanted to keep this animation, then I would pair it with my typing sound. And I pretty much just drag it and layer it. And as soon as the text would stop, that's where I would end it. Swipe it. I'm going to delete that. This is what it would look like, just to show you for reference.
God is calling you for more.
So for me, if I was to do this, I would delete this mouse click and I would move it to the end where the actual text would pop off. Like, not pop off, where the text would end.
God is calling you for more. More peace.
Does that make sense? So I personally am not going to use this typing feature. So I'm going to press Command Z and delete it. And let's go to this animation and press none. And so now what I want to do is add music behind the entire video. So what we're going to do is just go and listen to a bunch of music that they have and see which one sounds the best. So for what I'm talking, I want a more like lo-fi, chill kind of vibe. I'm gonna save this one for later, but that's not the vibe for right now. I like that. So I'm gonna drag it in and just see what it sounds like. With music, it is so important to make the sound of the music less than the audio of you talking. You don't want someone to fight to hear you. They're gonna click away from your video. So you wanna make sure that your voice is riding the beat. And I once was an audio engineer, and so this is so key in music in movies, in anything, they make sure that when the music is playing, that the voice is riding the beat. And what that basically means is that when you turn your volume all the way down, you're faintly hearing the music and you hear your voice over it. So that's how I test if my music is too loud or if it's too low. I add the music, I play with the volume, I turn my volume all the way down, and then I press play. So let's go ahead and listen to see what it sounds like.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy.
And automatically, I don't like how it starts. So we're gonna crop that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income.
And I don't feel like this beat goes with what I'm saying.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy.
No, I don't like it. Delete. Try again. I need like a real slow, like. Okay, that one's super chill. So I feel like this one will work so much better.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more.
That's not layered correctly.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. So what is stopping you? You have a vision so big on the inside of you. And I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. What's my next step?
And I think I want the whole video to be where the beat drops. Or if I wanted to just crop it up to where the beginning is the main part and the beat drops right around here, or I say you have a vision so big on the inside of you. Let's see what that sounds like.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. So what is stopping you? You have a vision so big on the inside of you. And I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. What's my next step?
And something to remember is that you don't have to have music when you post your talking videos. There are plenty of videos where I've posted with no music because I personally felt like it sounded better. So you really just have to decide, what am I going to choose? But why it's so important to add your music before you actually publish the video is because if you use the audio from Instagram, let's say, and all of a sudden they take the audio away and you're talking in that video, it'll mute your entire video and then you can't use it and people can't listen anymore and you basically have to repost it. And so I just prefer not to go that route. And if I'm talking in the video, I add the music before if I'm gonna add it. So let's listen to this one more time and see if I like it, see if I wanna take any clicks away. This is just a part of the process. You re-listen multiple times, you re-watch multiple times. This just helps you prevent from posting a video and then being like, wow, I spelt that wrong. And that's happened to me multiple times. A video I worked so hard on, realizing that I misspelled something in the textbook.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. So what?
I don't like this click right here anymore now that I added the music.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income.
I'm gonna actually make this sound even less so you can barely hear it.
God is calling you for more peace.
And I know it's like freezing as I'm recording this, but I can hear it.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy.
So to me, that sounded so much better. If I left it where it was at, it kind of sounded like things were crashing, and I don't want it to crash. Remember, we want our voice to ride the beat, and we don't want any of our audios to be higher than us talking.
God is calling you for more. of you. And I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0.
So I'm deciding, I'm making an executive decision, and I'm putting this here. And now let's watch the whole thing through. And then we're done.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. So what is stopping you? You have a vision so big on the inside of you. And I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. What's my next step? God is.
So what I realized is there is a delay. And when I say what's my next step, like this comes way too early.
Not 0 to 10.
I say what's my next step right here. So what I'm going to do is just slide this over, extend this one, and now let's rewatch that again.
Can look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. What's my next step?
Boom! Yay, we're done. Okay, now let's talk about our export settings. When you are exporting, so you filmed in 4K, now we want to make sure that we're exporting in 1080p. So this is just a lower resolution, which means that when you're uploading it to the short form platforms, your video isn't going to come out blurry, or it's not going to try to compress the size. So that's why I suggested when you film in 4K, you're allowing your video to have the highest quality while still being able to export it on a different setting, so that when you upload it to short form, it still looks really good. And so these are going to be my export settings. I'm going to change the name. God is calling you for more. And then we're going to export. If you were doing long form, just a tip, you would export on 4K. But again, we're doing short form, so we're exporting on 1080p. And then we're going to export it, and then that's it.
God is calling you for more peace, more joy, more income. So what is stopping you? You have a vision so big on the inside of you. And I'm here to remind you that your life can look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. What's my next step?
I love it. I really pray that this blessed you and that you love it, and that this provided you everything you need for your introduction to CapCut and editing your A-roll video. And I'm so excited. Love you. I just walked you through the basic editing of this video. I just want to show you really fast how to overlay your B-roll videos while you're talking. So for me, when I'm using the desktop, all I have to do is click media, and I'm just going to drag a video. Let's just find something, or a picture. So I went to my B-roll files, and I'm just going to click one of the videos and put it inside. So this one's 25 seconds, and this is just a B-roll clip. So if you're using your phone, what you would do is you would just press the plus button, and then you would click the video and then click overlay. Or you can just go ahead and click the overlay button. There's different ways you could do it. When you're doing it on desktop, I added the video, and now I'm just gonna drag this in. So the important thing is, if you still want your captions, then this needs to be underneath the captions. And so what you can do is hover it, and it'll move it there. But if you don't want the captions on top of your B-roll, you can move it above. Either way it works, doesn't matter. So I just wanted to show you really fast what it looks like to add B-roll on top of your videos. So let's go ahead and just add it. And let's say I just want to add something this long.
Can look like that vision. So I want you to think.
So you could tell that it was slightly delayed. I'm just going to drag this over to where it hits that edge, hits this edge.
Remind you that your life can look like that vision. So I want you to think 0 to 1, not 0.
Perfect. So that's what it looks like when you're layering your B-roll on top of your A-roll videos.